all rest, got the Fender Bandmaster out, and warmed up some Eric Clapton here. Lay Down Sally, what a great song. You know, there's a bunch of ways you can play this. I'm going to go over, there's two main guitars, and they're pan hard left to right. I'm going to go over both of those, but you can combine them. So you'll definitely hear, you know, the one lick you recognize and the second guitar's lick you will recognize also. And then we're going to go over like a little easier rhythm to play it, if your fingers get tired of doing that, and kind of talk about just a little bit of the theory behind what he's doing. So we're in standard tuning, got a Strat guitar. I'm using the second from the bottom pickup selection, so I'm in these two pickups here. And clean tone with a little bit of reverb. Good to go. So I'll call this guitar 1. This is the guitar really that plays the rhythm and the lead and does this continuously. In the intro, they'll do it a total of 8 times, this whole lick. So to start it out, we're just going to hit a slight A power chord, 5th and 4th string. Then you can use your thumb. I'm not good at thumb over. Never practiced it, never been good at it. But what I use is my middle finger on the 2nd fret of the 6th string. So we're going to go 2, open 2 after hitting the A. Okay, now this is where people get, I don't think they spend a lot of time with their lessons. What you want to do, you're not hitting another A and just hitting it a couple times. He's actually hitting the 4th, again, we're referencing an A, we're hitting the 4th string at the 2nd fret to the open 5th string back to the 4th string, all right? So we've got this so far. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, at that point we're going to come back to 2 and then go to 3 on the 6th string, back to 2. All right, so this is what we have for this whole lick. Very slowly. 1, 2, 3, 4. And again, that'll repeat 8 times in the beginning. Okay, while that's going on, the second guitar is playing underneath it. You'll hear that. You'll recognize the part of that lick. So let's go over this again. Play it a couple times so you get this under your fingers, because it truly is fun to play. And we'll talk a little bit about the theory of what's going on here. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So what he's doing, he's in an F sharp, right? That's the 6th from the key of A. A, B, C, D, E, and then F sharp. That's 6 notes away from A. And that's what we're doing when we do what we call, if you're using bar chords, pinky rock, or adding your 5th down, you're hitting an F sharp. The difference is when you hit the F sharp on the 6th string, in that context, it doesn't sound as good because you kind of mute the A string. That A can really ring and you can move between it. So that F sharp sounds good. So we get the 6th, one more note, we've got the 7th of an A scale. So we're up to a G note, all right? What's the second part of it? So he's doing. You see the difference, or the theory behind it, but it's more country-esque, if you will, and fits the song perfectly. So that's the main guitar lick that you will hear, I call it guitar 1, and repeats 8 times. Let's go over guitar 2, and then we'll talk about how to combine them. So this second guitar, he changes it up a couple times playing this, not so much in the intro, but throughout the song. And I'll talk about some of the different things he does. But basically, we're going to take 2 stabs on an A power chord, then kind of a blank hit, and then 2 more hits on an A. Then you'll hear this. Alright, so what he's doing there, okay, we got the 2 hits on A, then a blank, and then 2 more. Then we're going to hit the open G, 3rd string, and then hit the 5th fret of the 4th string. Open G, 3rd string again to 4 twice. Then open, then to the 2nd fret. Now the key to doing that 2nd fret of the 3rd string is kind of forming the A. We're not going to hit the A. We want to keep it clean. But then we are able to hit the A after that. Okay? So that's just a little tip if you're going to play this second guitar separately. So let's take it up to that point. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, so after we've hit the 3rd string, 2nd fret, we're going to hit another A power chord, a little chukka. Then we're going to pull down on the 3rd fret of the 6th string to an A, and then he does this. It's just the 3rd string open to the 4th fret of the 4th string pulled off to 2. Then it starts over. So the second half of that with an A to the chukka, then the 3 pulled down on the 6th string. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then it just goes around. Alright, so let's do this twice together at a slow speed. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that, those 2, that's guitar 1, and that, what we just learned, is guitar 2 of the intro. And they are panned hard left and right. So if you have a stereo you're playing through, you can listen hard left and hard right and play along with each of those guitars. So next we'll go over how to combine them. And I've written the song out basically in the chorus with it combined because it seems like it's such an integral part, especially in the chorus. So the combo guitars, which is real fun to play, it takes practice, guys. This isn't going to come overnight. This took me a good week of just playing it every day and working through it, building up the speed. What we're going to do is the first half of the first guitar. All right. So once we go, we're not going to hit 4, 5, 4. We're going to hit 4, 5, and then move to the lick. And then we'll go through the whole first guitar again. Okay? So that's how we can combine them. So slowly, 1, 2, 3, 4. it's really getting it in your head and just working it up. I always remember after I hit that F sharp the second time, I'm going to be taking off. That's kind of how I do it in my head. Take off. Then normal. Maybe that'll help you. So that's just one of those things to work out slow. I've written it out. I forgot to mention my notes are always available below my video. Also with the link to Riff Station, which is free. You can download it and look on the web on how to use it, because it's a great tool for slowing down songs. Even changing keys if you don't want to change the pitch of your guitar. Anyhow, so those are the combo guitars. If you do the combo guitar, that'll be repeated a total of 4 times in the intro. So another thing I noticed that's different and is not in the tabs or most of the lessons because I research these guys, just this first measure, he doesn't do 2, 3, 2, he just goes 2, open 2, all right? So it'll sound like this. And then again. So that's the real difference. There's no, it's, all right, so let's go through that part of verse 1. 1, 2, 3, 4. Ooh, I messed up. All right, again. Switch this up and go to D. All right, we're going to be doing the same rhythm as we did with the A and then the 6th string. We'll be just using the 5th string. The only difference is we're going to end on an F sharp. So let me show it to you and then I'll show you what we're doing. This is only for a half measure. All right, so we hit the D. So that's the 4th and 3rd string at 2nd fret. Then we're going to be riffing on the 2nd fret of the 5th string to open back to 5. And then 3rd string, 2nd fret to open 4th back to the 3rd string at 2. Then we go 2 to open and then land on our F sharp on the 6th string. All right, so together, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we go into the riff with our 3. Again. All right, now we go to our D one more time. Then we end the verse with this. So what we're doing after our last D is a 2-4 on the 5th string. So we hit our E power chord to the 6th of an E, back to the E. Then we'll hit E one more time, so we'll have this. And then there's 3 hits on the open E before you go 2-4. It's a walk-up. All right, so the E together, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you're back into, well, you're actually into the chorus. So chorus 1, again, chorus 2 is the same. What we're doing is the riff without the 3. We'll do that one time, then we're going to move to D, then we're going to move to E. So this is getting us into the chorus. 4. combined them. So we'll go 2, open 2, and then our takeoff. So notice that very last one was our 2 open 2, not 2 3 2. All right. So again, the second measure of the chorus: 1 2 3 4. All right. We're going to go to a D and then to an E. So it'll sound like this. Repeat our A. One more time. So the last 2 measures are really coming out of the chorus. They're just played almost as a tag at the end. All right, so I've written it out. It'll really help you to follow along. Verse 2 is, and verse 3, once we get to it, is just like verse 1. Same with the chorus. Okay, so that second chorus we just did, I'm sorry, the first chorus we just did, those 2 tags at the end are left out. They go into the solo at that point. All right, so then you're into the solo rhythm. All right, the solo rhythm is the first guitar we learned. That's going to repeat a total of 18 times, so it goes on for a while. But Clapton's solo and phrasing is just impeccable. So again, the solo rhythm: 1 2 3 4. 17 more times, you got it. All right, then we're into verse 3. Like I said, just like verse 2. Chorus 3, again, has the tag at the end, and we're out of the song. There is an outro, which would be really basically fading out with the... So that's really the outro after the solo. They just keep doing those 2 guitars back and forth. So I'll go over an easier rhythm if you're not real comfortable doing this or just want to jam with them. You know, this is in A minor with a major, a couple notes in there from the A major scale. But for the most part, if you play an A minor, it'll sound great just jamming with this song. So what I'm going to do is go over the easier rhythm now, and then we'll go over the solo. All right, so this is the intro rhythm, which I'll do a total of 8 times for the intro. But what's really nice, whether it's a verse or chorus, this type of rhythm just repeats because we're using that F sharp, and then we'll eventually use the G, which matches the notes that we're doing on the 6th string. All right, so what we want to do is go 2, open 5th string. We'll be on the 2nd fret of the 4th, going up to the 4th fret, back to 2. We'll do that twice. And then we're going to hit it twice with the A. Then we go 4 5 4. All right, so all together, slowly. 1 2 3 4. Really, again, we do the A 8 times total in the intro. In the verse, we're going to do the A for a full half measure. Then we go to D for a quarter measure. Back to A, all right? and we'll do the same thing. This whole measure will repeat. So we have this. Same rhythm. And that is the verse. All right. So I think the hardest part is when do we switch the chords? You know, going from the 1 to the 4 and then finally to the 5. So this is where my notes will really help you. All right, the chorus will consist of A once through with our 4-5-4, then D 4-5-4 once through, then E, and then back to A 4-5-4. We'll repeat that for another measure. And then the very last measure is, again, because this is chorus 1, we have that tag, and it's just repeating the 4-5-4 with the A 4 full times. All right, so I'm going to go all through chorus 1 with this easier rhythm so you can see how everything fits together. Up there. The tag will just be doing the A a total of 8 times. So with this easier rhythm, verse 2 is just like verse 1, chorus 2 is just like chorus 1, except we don't have that tag and land on the A for 8 times. It will just, we'll come back to A and that will start the solo rhythm. Of course, the solo rhythm will be 8 for a measure and 4 measures. So it'll be a total of 16 of those. And then we're into verse 3, which is just like verse 1 and 2. Chorus 3, we've got the tag. Well, it's not really the tag. It's kind of starting the outro. So they go through the first 2 measures, A, D, E, back to A. They'll do that 4 full measures. So A, D, E, A. Repeat, repeat, repeat. And then the outro is strictly the A and fading out. Alright, so that's kind of how it fades out. I had mentioned earlier I was going to talk about how the second guitar so what he does different, instead of pulling down, he'll slide into that and then pull down, and then the other thing he'll do is just slide from the G up to the F, G sharp. So that's what the second guitar does. I'm sorry, I forgot to mention that. Just some variations that if you have 2 guitars and are doing that, you can add that in there. There's really not a certain sequence that they do that. It's more of a feel for that second guitar. All right, we'll go over the solo and you'll have the whole song. Okay, so I wrote the solo out. I got to give props to John McClellan, and I'll put a link to his solo video below. He does a cover of the solo, and I thought it was fantastic. He really captured Clapton's phrasing, the way he played it made a lot of sense to me as a guitarists playing in these different scales. And so that's where I learned most of the solo from. Again, you know, you reach certain points, it's like, what are they doing there? And, oh, this is a little different. So, again, that's where I got most of this solo from. So the link is below the video, also with the link to my tab. Okay, for the first few measures of the solo, we're going to be in this 5th position. This is the very first measure. We'll go over it after I show it to you. Alright, so we're going to start with a descending run. We'll go from the first string, 5th fret, to 8, 7, 5 on the 2nd. Then we'll grab the 3rd string at the 7th fret with a bend, and then 5 unbent. Then we come back to 7, bend, and then 7 unbent to 5 on that 3rd string. Alright, then we come to the 4th string, 7, 5, 7. So we have this all together so far. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we're going to go from the 5th fret of the 3rd string back to 7 on the 4th string. 3rd string, 5, 7, and then 7 bent up to a Chuck Berry, 5 on the 2nd and 5 on the 1st. Then, this is a little bit unusual, but it's a real good blues move, is hitting that 3rd string at 7 bent up again, and then hitting the 1st string at 5. That ends the measure. Alright, so from the Chuck Berry move, 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, the whole first measure together slowly. 1, 2, 3, 4. So the second phrase will sound like this. Again, these really aren't, it's played a little bit quicker, but it's the phrasing. So really listen to that once you learn these notes and how Clapton does that. So with that said, we're going to start out 2nd string at 5 here for the 2nd measure. And then we'll go to 8 on the 1st string, pulled off to 5, and then 7 on the 1st string, pulled off to 5. Then we come to 8, 7. So this 3rd measure is where I kind of differ from a lot of people, even the guy who I kind of watched this play. I really think he goes to the F sharp rather than the 5th fret G on the 4th string. Alright, so that was the 3rd measure. So what I think he's doing here is going from the 7th fret of the 4th string to 4, landing on the 7th fret of the 5th string, then laying down, catching 7 again on the 4th string before we hit it again and repeat that. So we have this. Then we move 5, 7 to 5 with slight vibrato on the 3rd string, back to 7 on 4. Then we go 3rd string, 5, catch 7 and bend that up to 5 on the 2nd and 5 on the 1st before coming back to the 2nd string with a pull off from 8 to 5. Catching 8 with a bend, 2nd string, then we come back 8 on the 1st to 5 on the 1st string to 8 on the 2nd twice. Alright, so all the way up to that. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we finish off with a simple 7, bend and release and pull off to 5 on the 3rd string, landing on 7 on the 4. So for the 4th measure of the solo, we'll do this. Alright, so what we're doing there is we're going to slide into the 9th fret on the 3rd string, catch 8 twice on the 2nd. We'll do that again, just 9 to 8. Then we're going to take 9, slide to 7, and pull that off to 5, and then 5. I'm sorry, no pull off. Then we do 7 to 5, pull off twice. So far we have this. Then we'll land on the 4th string at 7, hit that twice with some vibrato. Then we're going to take off again, hitting 5 on the 4th to 7 on the 5th, slid to 5. And then we hit the 3rd fret of the 5th string, hammer on to 5, back off to 3. Landing on 5 for 2 strikes. Alright, so all together slowly. 1, 2, 3, 4. So the next measure of the solo sound like this. Alright, basically we're up here at the 10th position. We're going to bend up the 12th fret of the 3rd string, catch 10, do that twice. Then we'll hit 12 unbent to 10 twice. Again, that repeats. Then we'll go 10 one more time to 13 bent. Then we'll catch 12 on the 3rd string bent to 10, 13 pulled off to 10. And then landing on the 3rd string at 10 and finally on 12 on the 3rd string and finally 10 on the 2nd. So slowly, 1, 2, 3, 4. So the next measure of the solo moves up to the 13th position. All right, sound like this. Alright, again, it's played much quicker, but what we're doing is hitting the 2nd string at 13 to the 3rd string at 14, then we hit 15 on the 2nd string bent, and then bend it again and release. To 13, 15 bent, and then 13, 15 bend and release to 13. Then we go 14 on the 3rd string to 13 on the 2nd. So let's take it to that part. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we're going to catch 14 again, but we'll move to 12 on the 3rd string. Then go to the 14th fret of the 4th string, slide that to 12 and hit 10. We'll land on 12 on the 5th string, lay down, catch the 4th string at 12 to 10, and then just slide down. Alright, so that whole thing slowly, 1, 2, 3, 4. play it real smooth, but you get the idea. Alright, so we got 2 measures left. Second to last measure will sound like this. Alright, basically what we're doing is the 7th fret of the 4th string to the 5th fret of the 3rd string back to 7. Then we come back to the 3rd at 5, and then 7th fret of the 3rd string, bend up, catch our little Chuck Berry 2nd to 1st string at 5, and then just 8. Then we're going to hit 5, and then on the 2nd string, and then 7 bent and released, and then catch 5, 7, 5. And then we'll hit 7, 5 on the 4th string. So let's take it up to that part. So we'll take off from the 4th string. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we'll do another Chuck Berry. This time we're going to pull off from 8 to 5 on the 2nd string. And then a 7 bend and release on the 3rd string to the 5th fret. Then we'll do sort of the beginning again, 7, 5, 7 from 4 to 3. Then we'll catch 7 on the 3rd string bent twice and then hit 5. Alright, so that whole measure together, 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, at that point, the very last measure will do this. So it's a real nice ending lick. We're going to slide on the 3rd string from 5 to 4. Then we'll catch 7 to 5 on the 4th string. Then we'll catch 7 on the 5th string back to 5 on the 4th string. And then 7 slid down to 5 on the 5th. And then 3, 5, 3 on the 5th string. And then 2 5s on the 6th string to end. So the very last lick, 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, this is really played with a lot of feeling and so forth. So those are the notes, written it out, listen to the song, listen to how he phrases it. It's why he's Eric Clapton. So I really hope this helps everybody and you'll be able to play your favorite song. So enjoy.